What's going on YouTube? Hannah back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we will be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as Tron to Bitcoin. We will also be discussing, as you guys saw in the title, why you should not sell your Litecoin or Bitcoin in 2019, and basically discussing the perks of why I can see Litecoin going to a much higher position than it is currently at. We will also be looking at Wyoming determining to legalize Bitcoin as money, as an actual currency to pay for goods. So this is definitely an article that I highly recommend, and an episode that I highly recommend you watch all the way through. There's tons of important information in this article and in today's episode that you do not want to miss out on. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up if you like the content and want to see more. Furthermore, let's just jump into today's episode. So we are on the current coin market cap, and as you guys can see, we have a market cap of $124.5 billion, a 24-hour volume of 16.8 bill, and a Bitcoin dominance of 52.5%. So we are seeing a slight decrease in Bitcoin dominance, which is good for Litecoin. It means that, alts are definitely starting to rise back up. Doesn't mean Bitcoin is down. As you guys can see right here, Bitcoin is not down, but it does mean altcoins are making a bigger leap than Bitcoin currently is. 24-hour volume is 16.8, so we're also seeing a slight increase in Bitcoin and altcoins 24-hour volume. That is increasing, as well as the market cap. You can see we were at like 121 yesterday. We're at 124.5, so about 3 billion, I would say, we have increased by. So we're definitely seeing some green across the board. As I scroll down, you guys can clearly see that represents my analysis. In terms of the current coin market cap, all the top 10 coins seem to be up, actually, except for Tron, which is taking a slight dip, down 1.6%. We will be looking a little bit more in depth into Tron later on in today's episode, but for the most part, all the coins are actually doing quite well, up, I'd say around average 3% on the market. Most of the coins are up quite a bit, and we do have a double-digit auger up 15%, which I do think we should look at because it's making a very nice steady movement to the upside. But for the most part, coins are up 3 to 4%. Beautiful. Holo up 30%, almost, making a massive leap. That's definitely an interesting coin we may have to look at as well. Electronium up 13.7. Obviously, if you guys have any interest in these coins and you want me to do a further, a more in-depth technical analysis on them, make sure to drop a comment and let me know. Otherwise, if you guys were interested in making $25, ABRA, link is in the top of the description, is doing a very good promotion right now, which is basically if you invest $5 for any new client or new customer, you invest $5 from a bank account, a deposit, you guys will receive $25 worth of Bitcoin instantly within like 3 or 4 days. I know a bunch of you guys have already done that, so if you did, I do appreciate and thank you for all who have. But if you guys haven't yet, the promotion is going away fairly quick in the next week or two, so I definitely recommend taking advantage of that before it dips away, and it's free Bitcoin, so who doesn't like that? $25 is actually quite a lot for a $5 investment. Furthermore, diving into today's episode, I do want to discuss these Litecoin, the reasons why you shouldn't be selling Litecoin. So I do have an article and some of my personal opinion on it. It basically when it comes to prices and where I can see Litecoin going, most people think that Litecoin, could go near to $600 or so in 2019. It is definitely a possibility. Obviously, this is no, just massive, explosion into the market, but I do think a slow, gradual grind, we will see this coin move up to around that price potentially, in 2019, 2020, but definitely starting to see a movement back to the upside. I do think we did bottom out, on all the markets, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and I do think we're in that accumulation phase where we're going to slowly start to see a gradual increase in price. Currently Litecoin is $32, which it is slightly higher than where, it bottomed out at like $28, $27. So we are seeing that gradual increase in the price. So although some altcoins are earning prestige and global relevance with each passing day, Bitcoin is still hands down the most prominent crypto in the market, with increasing appreciation of the transaction benefits that cryptography and the blockchain technology technology can provide. So to discuss exactly what Litecoin is, most of you guys know the history, of Litecoin. But for the most part, Litecoin is an open source project, which means that it has the capability and flexibility to implement relevant and useful tech improvements, such as the Segwit and the Lightning Network. In that matter, it has improved Bitcoin version, which is logical since it was a fork of it, or, we did copy the blockchain technology. Also the massive community that Litecoin has. As you guys can see, I do rep Litecoin, merchandise. Obviously, if you guys wanted to see that too, or buy some, that is in the description as well, the link to my merch store. But it is also considerably faster than Bitcoin, completing transactions in an average of 2.5 minutes, compared to 10 minutes like Bitcoin is, and Bitcoin can take an upwards of like 6 hours, we've seen when the market gets flooded. But I really stress the community behind Litecoin. I know Bitcoin Ben and a bunch of other, Johnny Litecoin and John Kim, and also Charlie Lee. It's a huge community behind it. I'm part of the East Coast Foundation for Litecoin, so I do get to hear the back end of the development that goes into making Litecoin a better, crypto. The community is all positive, and it is pushing every single day to get involved with more and more retail companies and potentially more bigger institutions. We just recently partnered with the UFC, I think twice now, which is absolutely fantastic and amazing. Huge improvements all around. And, I also partnered with a Lamborghini and exotic car rental company, Exotic Cloud 9. You guys can obviously check it out on YouTube if you just type that in, or online, Exotic Cloud 9. So there's a bunch of different places that are starting to accept Litecoin, and they see the potential and the growth within Litecoin, as a whole. It also represents a cheaper option for people looking to perform transactions with an almost zero transaction fee compared to Bitcoin. And the process of mining can be more straightforward on Litecoin than, with Bitcoin. I also said it has a less toxic community, and it's considerably less volatile during market crashes or corrections than some, of its peers. Also, the developers and founders have shown excellent leadership skills, throughout time. Charlie Lee, Coinbase, as the head of engineering with the intention of focusing, full time on his Litecoin project, is doing, absolutely amazing. And there are atomic swaps between Litecoin and Bitcoin where, a lot of good money can be made. It has a pretty, pretty small market cap, a total supply of 84 million coins does give this coin potential to, boost its price fairly quickly, and a market cap that is very low if you compare Litecoin to other tokens at the top of the market. And also Chinese are more fond of it. The people, the Asian culture that likes to, get involved. Most of the mining does take place in China, and those people are fond of Litecoin, which is an excellent marketing development since it represents the most significant pool of potential users. And all the hardware wallets support Litecoin, and a lot of exchanges are starting to support Litecoin as well. I did a review on the Trezor wallet that also supports Litecoin. The Ledger Nano S and the Ledger Nano also support Litecoin to hold. So, all around, it's definitely a worthwhile investment. Do not sell off. I will show you guys more in depth on the technical analysis side as to why I think Litecoin is going to go up in the near future. Furthermore, I did find an article which was quite interesting. Wyoming determined to legalize Bitcoin as money, which is definitely, interesting to me. But it says right here, sponsored by Senator Tara Nethercott, along with 5 other state senators and representatives, they proposed a bill titled Digital Assets Existing Law. Calls for the proper classification of virtual assets. The bill also seeks to create a legal framework for virtual asset custody via banks instead of other financial institutions. According to the bill, virtual assets fall under 3 categories: securities, assets, and currency. The bill sponsors believe that cryptocurrency like Bitcoin fall under currency category, giving them the same legal status as money. With Bitcoin classified as money, Bitcoin transactions can become interest-free. According to Article 9 of the Uniform Commercial Code, UCC, this classification also extends property rights to cryptocurrencies owners, removing the need for intermediaries in peer-to-peer transactions. So the fact that it can become, interest-free is actually quite a big, deal for cryptocurrency. There's also blockchain related legislation in Wyoming apart from digital assets existing law. The Wyoming state legislature is also considering other blockchain related pieces of legislation. Representative Jared Olson and Senator Chris Rothfuss, along with a group of other lawmakers, recently introduced the corporate stock certificate tokens bill. If passed, it will allow companies to issue blockchain-based share certificates. Back in December of 2018, Wyoming reinforced its reputation as blockchain-friendly when it passed a blockchain bank bill. Companies like Cardano have also even been announced plans to move, to the state. So there's definitely a bunch of crazy news going on within cryptocurrency. And honestly, with all this, hype that is still behind cryptocurrency, I do think Litecoin, specifically Bitcoin 2, are a sleeping giant waiting to explode in terms of market cap and price. So definitely make sure you have, a little bit of cryptocurrency left. Do not sell off. I know some people have, but I definitely think it's a good buying opportunity to be holding on to, and definitely a long-term, asset to have under your belt. Furthermore, looking on the exchanges, I am on the Litecoin trading view. That's the website that I use, Litecoin to US dollar on Coinbase. A lot of people do Litecoin to Bitcoin. I prefer doing it to USD, mainly because you guys can actually see the price of the coins, and it looks a little bit better, and it's easier for beginners to understand. And I know a lot of the newer subscribers are definitely around that level. So there's a couple of things to notice. Price is currently $32.38. And what that tells me is we did find a very strong support at $30, around $30 and change. And it's holding onto it quite well. We were overbought back on January 13th. And you can see it's currently January 19th. So about 7 days or 6 days have passed. I can't even do math. 6 days have passed. And as you guys can see, we did spike up just recently, the past couple of hours. Overnight, we shot up to retest our high-low MMA on the 4-hour. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moves. I'm really waiting to see what exactly happens right here. We did kind of become we're nearing oversold, or actually overbought on Litecoin's 4-hour RSI, but for the most part, it is kind of getting entangled with its high-low MMA. If Litecoin can hold strong and enough volume reaches into it, and we could see maybe 20 billion in volume, we could potentially see this coin break through its high-low MMA and start using this more as a support. I'll probably buy back in once we reach, I know a lot of people were asking me, when am I going to buy back in? Hayden, when are you going to buy back in? If we can break $33 and not become overbought, I'd probably buy back in and anticipate a move up to $40, and then we'll see what happens there. I may take some more profits, or I may hold out for a longer move. But if we can break $33, that's probably when I will invest or buy back into Litecoin and then ride that wave up to potentially $40. Looking at Litecoin, though, on its daily, it also looks quite nice. You can clearly see the congestion that is happening between this channel right here, and that is kind of why I'm holding off at the moment. If, in fact, Litecoin on its daily does decide, you can see on its RSI, it is only trading at 50, so plenty of potential to move to the upside. If in fact we do break the $33 on the short term, due to the fact that there's a lot of congestion in this channel, I can see us breaking upwards and shooting up and trying to retest our high-low MMA once again. You can see we did that previously back on January 8th, but I can see us shooting back up, and $32 to $40 is a pretty massive jump. So I would cash out on that and then sell off probably up here once we retest the high-low MMA, and then readjust and figure out when I should buy back into it. But Litecoin for the long term looks absolutely beautiful, and I think we are going to be heading up to nice and nicer and nicer areas. As we see more retail investors start adopting Litecoin as a payment method, I may splurge and rent a Lamborghini because I'm now friends with them. So it's definitely some perks involved with Litecoin moving up and seeing more retail investors starting to accept it. Instead of buying a coffee, I can drive in style there. But for the most part, Litecoin, like we said, or now we're on to Bitcoin on its 4-hour. You guys can see we were oversold back again on the 13th, similar to Litecoin, but you can see we saw a lot of sideways trading little volume, which indicates a unstable market. You know, when we see stability in a coin, it's usually an unstable move. It's weird, but that indicates that there's going to be a pump or a dump fairly soon. As you can see, we broke bullish in the short term, you know, the 4-hour, and we're currently retesting the high-low MMA. We're nearing overbought, so there might be a slight pullback. It would be nice to see this coin break above the red band on its high-low MMA and trade above that and consolidate back down. That would be beautiful. That's what I'm looking for within Bitcoin. Furthermore, moving us out though, you know, I do think Bitcoin also has plenty of potential to make a run. I know we did discuss, you know, for those who are new, we do have this downtrend right here, which does look quite nice. I do think we're going to be consolidating out until we retest this back, you know, I think in the mid to end of March of 2019. We are seeing this high-low MMA swoop in. So if you do see a move within Bitcoin, it wouldn't be too prominent. It would probably shoot us up to resistance at around $4,000. If we break through that, probably come into play with this downtrend, you know, this high-low MMA at around $4,300. And eventually, I think it's only temporary. We're going to consolidate out and start to retest this downtrend right here, and then we may see a nice pop, bringing the coin all the way up to like $5,500 fairly quick. Currently moving on to Ethereum. Another day, Ethereum is trading sideways. Looks kind of the best in terms of the 4-hour. Still has potential to move up higher. It looks like it's facing some issues with its 125 resistance. It's trying to break above that currently as we speak. It's currently trading at $123.91. I think with enough volume, we'll break through that, you know, and start using this high-low MMA once again as a support instead of a resistance. Obviously, we have a huge resistance at 160, which is probably where this coin is trying to move to. So, you know, if things do look prominent, I could buy in a little bit of Ethereum and ride that wave up to potentially that 160. You can see right here where I'm referring to. I apologize for the ad. Resistance right here at 123. If we break bullish, we'll probably shoot right up to 160, retest the high-low MMA, and then pull back down. But from 123 all the way up to 160 is a fairly good profit to make some money off of. Lastly, ending today's episode with Tron. Tron, I've been watching, and I'm telling you guys, there is definitely some potential in Tron. Got to check out if ABRA supports Tron. I believe it does, but I know Binance 100% does. I'm using Tron to Bitcoin on Binance, but this is definitely a beautiful move. We've been tracking this ascending triangle, and I've been saying we were overbought and we needed to pull back down, and you can see that's exactly what it's doing. I think we're going to retest this ascending triangle, this uptrend once again, and I think once it does test right around here, you know, where we're starting to head down to, we need to pull back on the daily as well. When we hit around 50 on the RSI and we pull back down to this uptrend, I'm probably going to invest a little bit into Tron as well and ride that wave all the way up to resistance at the top here. But Tron definitely looks like a coin that's staying on my radar. It may be the sleeping giant. We do have to check this out, but otherwise, if you guys are new to today's episode or to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up if you like the content, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's episode.